canoe toes. While I'm talking to you real quick, for the PATHS program I'm working on, I have decided to include people who are making robots that give birth. I think they belong in the PATHS program as well. I love technology, but I think some things take it a little too far. And I included in the PATHS program why and the threat to humanity. Happy Lions Portal Day. 888. All right. If you haven't been manifesting everything you want, the
library will be closing in 15 minutes. Public computers will shut down automatically 5 minutes before closing. If you have any materials to be checked out, please take them to the circulation desk at this time. If you need assistance finding materials, please come to the information desk.
We're on chapter 13. I read the beginning of chapter 13 for the 4-hour work week. Page 283 out of 438 pages. Okay, we were at pride and punishment. If you must play, decide on 3 things at the start: the rules of the game, the stakes, and the quitting time. Chinese proverb. Just because something has been a lot of work or consumed a lot of time doesn't make it productive or worthwhile. Just because you are embarrassed to admit that you're still living the consequences of bad decisions made 5, 10, or 20 years ago shouldn't stop you from making good decisions now. If you let pride stop you, you will hate life 5, 10, and 20 years from now for the same reasons. I hate to be wrong and sat in a dead-end trajectory with my own company until I was forced to change directions or face total breakdown. I know how hard it is. Now that we're all on a level playing field, pride is stupid. Being able to quit things that don't work is integral to being a winner. Going into a project or job without defining what worthwhile becomes wasteful. It's like going into a casino without a cap on what you will gamble, dangerous and foolish. But you don't understand my situation. It's complicated, but is it really? Don't confuse the complex with the difficult. Most situations are simple. Many are just emotional, difficult to act upon. The problem and the situation are usually obvious and simple. It's not that you don't know what to do. Of course you do. You're just terrified that you might end up worse off than you are now. I'll tell you right now, if you're at this point, you won't be worse off. Revisit fear setting and cut the cord. Like pulling off a Band-Aid is easier and less painful than you think. The average man is a conformist, accepting miseries and disasters with the stoicism of a cow standing in the rain. Colin Wilson, British author of The Outsider, New Existentialist. There are several principal phobias that keep people on sinking ship, and there are simple rebuttals for all of them. Number 1, quitting is permanent. Far from it. Use the question and answers. Use the Q&A. It hasn't really been question and answers. It's been more like question and action. Question and action questions in this chapter. In chapter 3, fear setting, to examine how you can pick up your chosen career track or start another company at a later point. I have never seen an example where a change of direction wasn't somehow reversible. Number 2, I won't be able to pay the bills. Sure you will. First of all, the objective will be to have a new job or source of cash flow before quitting your current job problem solved. Okay. If you jump ship or get fired, it isn't hard to eliminate most expenses temporarily and live on savings for a brief period. From renting out your home to refinancing or selling it, there are options. There are always options. It might be emotionally difficult, but you won't starve. Park your car in the garage and cancel insurance for a few months, carpool, or take the bus until you find the next gig. Rack up some more credit card debt and cook instead of eating out. Sell all that crap that you spent hundreds of thousands on. See, this should have been said from the beginning when I started the journey. And this is chapter 13. Take a full inventory of your assets, cash reserves, debts, and monthly expenses. How long could you survive with the current resources, or if you sold some assets? Go through all expenses and ask yourself, if I had to eliminate this because I needed an extra kidney, how would I do it? Don't be melodramatic when there is no need. Few things are fatal, particularly for smart people. If you made it this far in life, losing or dropping a job will often be a little more than a few weeks of vacation unless you want more prior to something else. Welcome to the channel, darling. Okay. Covering the 4-Hour Workweek by Ferris, chapter 13. Health insurance and retirement accounts disappear if I quit. Untrue. I was scared of both when I eliminated from Tucson. I had visions of rotting teeth and working at Walmart to survive. Upon looking at the facts and exploring options, I realized that I could have identical medical and dental coverage, the same provider and network for $300 to $500 per month to transfer from my 401k to another company. I chose Fidelity Investments. Was even easier. It took less than 30 minutes via phone and cost nothing. Covering both of these bases takes less time than getting a customer service rep on the phone to fix your electric bill. Number 4, it will ruin my resume. I love creating nonfiction. You know what? With me getting back out there, so I can handle, of course, the books. The books is always the primary goal. The first thing they say to me is, oh my gosh, I love your resume. Well, my resume was about 6 pages long and included my books, which made it about 11 pages, depending upon what I was applying for. I said, you know what, they're just looking at my resume and they just said, let's get her in here and talk to her. I have now reduced my resume to 2 pages. Yeah. Ain't nobody got time. So, and it still has the same information on it, minus the books, minus the pages with the books. I will work on that later. I just mainly did the creative arts and the job history and education and endeavors I like to participate in for the 2 pages, but looks a lot better. Okay, let's keep going. It is not all difficult to sweep gaps under the rug and make uncommon items that the very things that get job interviews. How? Do something interesting and make them jealous. Yeah, honey. If you quit and then sit on your ass, I wouldn't hire you either. On the other hand, if you had a 1 to 2 year world circumnavigation on your resume or training with professional soccer teams in Europe, to your credit, 2 interesting things happen upon returning to the work world. First, you will get more interviews because you will stand out. Well, that explains. Second, interviews bored in their own jobs will spend the entire meeting asking how you did it. Oh my. If there is any question of why you took a break or left your previous job, there is one answer that cannot be countered. I had a once-in-a-lifetime chance to do exotic and interview-producing experience and couldn't turn it down. I figured that with 20 to 40 years of work to go, what's the rush? George Robin. Hello, darling. I'm reading from the 4-Hour Workweek by Ferris, is what I'm doing right now. So we're in chapter 13, darling. That's the book that I'm reading out of. Okay. And we started yesterday. The rest of them are on the playlist. I'll leave it in the comment section. Thank you for asking, love. And right now we're going through Pride and Punishment. All right. Okay. The cheesecake factor. Would you like me to give you a formula for success? It's quite simple, really. Double your rate of failure. Thomas J. Watson, founder of IBM. Summer 1999. Even before I tasted it, I knew something wasn't quite right. After 8 hours in the refrigerator, this cheesecake still hadn't set at all. It swished in the gallon bowl like a vicious soup, chunks shifting and bobbing as I tilted it. Under close inspection, somewhere a mistake has been made. It could have been a number of things. 3 1-pound sticks of Philly cream cheese. Eggs. Stevia. Unflavored gelatin. Vanilla. Sour cream. In this case, it was probably a combination of things and the lack of few simple ingredients that generally make cheesecake a form of cake. I was on a non-carbohydrate diet and I had used this recipe before. It had been so delicious that my roommates wanted their fair share and insisted on an attempt at bulk production. Hence began the mathematical shenanigans and problems. Before Splenda and other miracles of sugar imitation came on the scene, the hardcore used stevia and herb 300 times sweeter than sugar. 1 drop was like 300 packets of sugar. It was a delicate tool, and I wasn't a delicate cook. I had once made a small handful of cookies using baking soda instead of baking powder, and that was bad enough to drive my roommates to puke on the lawn. The new masterpiece made the cookies look like fine dining. It tasted like liquid cream cheese mixed with cold water and about 600
The library will be closing in 5 minutes.
Of sugar.
Any materials to be checked out must be taken to the circulation desk at this time. If you need other assistance, please come to the information desk.
I then did what any normal and rational person would do. I grabbed the largest soup ladle with a sigh and sat down in front of the TV to face my punishment. I had wasted an entire Sunday and a boatload of ingredients. It was time to reap what I had sown. 1 hour and 20 large spoonfuls later, I hadn't made a dent in the enormous batch of soup, but I was down for the count. Not only could I not eat anything but soup for 2 days, I couldn't bring myself to even look at cheesecake. Previously, my favorite dessert for more than 4 years. Stupid, of course. It's about as stupid as one can get. This is a ridiculous and micro example of what people do on a larger scale with jobs all the time. Self-imposed suffering that can be avoided. Sure, I learned a lesson and paid for the mistake. The real question is, for what? The first is the result of a decision to act to do something. This type of mistake is made with incomplete information, as it's impossible to have all the facts beforehand. This is to be encouraged. Fortune favors the bold. The second is the result of a decision of sloth, to not do something wherein we refuse to change a bad situation out of fear despite having all the facts. This is how learning experiences become terminal punishments. Bad relationships become bad marriages, and poor job choices become lifelong prison sentences. Yeah, but what if I'm in the industry where jumping around is looked down upon? I've been here barely a year, and prospective employees would think, would they? Test assumptions before condemning yourself to more misery. I've seen one detriment of sex appeal to good employers' performance. If you are a rock star when it comes to results, it doesn't matter if you jump ship from a bad company after 3 weeks. On the other hand, if tolerating a punishing work environment for years at a time is a prerequisite for a promotion in your field, could it be that you're in a game not worth winning? The consequences of bad decisions do not get better with age. What cheesecake are you eating? We're going to wrap it up there for today. We've got questions and actions tomorrow for the 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferris. It's been delicious. He's been absolutely delicious. And I am glad that y'all are sharing in this reading experience with me, since I want to get it done. So thank you, love tubers. And I will see you later, darlings. I believe Thursday. Happy Thursday.